Many of us remember it. Those eyes, brown eyes, blue eyes, hazel eyes, soulful eyes, bedroom eyes, eyes like a cat. Or maybe it's that physique, that body, that booty, that full lips, nice round hips, mustache, beard, long flowing hair, short natural hair. Maybe it's that voice of deep mellow tone. Or the nice, soft, sultry, sexy. Maybe it's the how they laugh, that laugh that seemed to just lift everything that, made me feel like that, not a care in the world. Maybe it's that strength, that strong determination, that really knowing what they want, really being in charge. Maybe it's that sweet, whatever it is, something that drew us to them. Something that made us see them, that made us feel, songs been written about it. Could it be I'm falling in love? When I fall in love, it will be forever. Songs that tell us it's a love thing. Songs that tell us, that make us feel in that moment, that all of those things that we feel, it's that sensation, it's that thing that just about every one of us remembers. Falling in love, one of the best feelings in the world. Falling in love, that person, we can't sleep, we can't eat, talking on the phone for hours. You hang up first, no, you hang up first, no, you hang up. I love you more. All of those things that we're fascinated by, that love, I can't eat, I can't sleep, I'm in love, all of those things. And the thing that happens is that when we first meet that person and things begin to happen, we fall in love with so much of them, so many aspects of them that are just so cool, just so fine. And what happens is that when we first meet that person, we put on our best behavior. When we meet them, we don't really meet them, we send our representative. That is memorable and fun, and they send theirs too. And so we've got two representatives that are working it out, that are hashing it out, that are doing the best that they can, and this is it. And then, it's like a friend of mine who was telling me about years ago, her grandfather, when he first met his grandmother, he was so in love with her that it was just beyond comprehension, beyond thinking that he would ever pass gas in front of this woman. So whenever that urge came to him, he would excuse himself and go someplace else so that he wouldn't have to expose her to this. And then one particular day, he went out to do so. And he made his way back in the room, but she didn't hear him coming back in. And as he walked closer to her, he let out, she let out. And long and loud. And from what she said, her grandfather said, a stinky one. And he thought, oh my God. How can I be with a woman like this? Not realizing that he himself did the same thing. And it wasn't until he stood back and thought about it for a moment that he reflected upon the fact that everything else about her I seem to like, and I do it, and she does it. So I guess we're going to have to get used to being able to do that in front of one another. But it brings me to a point that I want to make, is because the fact of the matter is, in our culture, we have this idea about falling in love. And you all remember maybe the newsletter a couple of weeks ago, I asked the question, is falling in love a myth? And no, it's not a myth, because after all, our biology, our evolution, if you will, that place in us, in order to ensure that the species continues on, it makes us attracted to certain things about people. Those things that we saw, those things that draw us to them, those things that, are really nice, and all of a sudden, all of those things, that laugh becomes a little bit annoying, and those bedroom eyes just become kind of dull and glassy, and that voice that was so deep and sonorous now is just kind of grating, and all of those things. And that's when we see the real person. That's when we encounter the real person that we fall for. And the thing of it is that, as M. Scott Peck says, that while we talk about falling in love is only the beginning, because when we reach that stage of what I call delayed enlightenment, when we see all of those things about a person, we reach a point where then we make a choice. And he says that loving is a choice. It's not something that we say, I've fallen in love and I can't get up. But rather it's something that we choose. We choose to continue loving that person. We choose whether or not we're going to continue to be in that relationship. We choose whether or not we are going to accept that person into our lives in such a way that it becomes a wonderful journey together. And part of the thing that happens with so many people is they never hear the idea or entertain the idea that that person that when we first started out that was so wonderful and all of those things, guess what, has flaws. And so do we. But a part of the process of loving is to choose that in spite of those things, that I accept that person without condition. Because so much love is conditional. You make me feel good. As long as you make me feel good, I love you. As long as you keep your shape, I love you. As long as you are in perfect health, I love you. As long as the bank account is doing its thing, I love you. But those are conditions, and conditions change. People change. We change. None of us are static. We are all dynamic, and a part of this journey that we call love, and a part of this journey that we call life, is about learning how to love unconditionally. Because that's the kind of love that will sustain itself. I remember my father telling me this long time ago, and I've watched it in their 58, almost 59 years of marriage. He said, make sure that you're friends first. Because there will be times in which you will wonder where the love has gone. But when you have the friendship can sustain those periods where the love seems to have died down. And I know that theirs is not the perfect marriage, but I will say that for 58, almost 59 years, they've done something right. And so it's about loving beyond limits, loving unconditionally. It means that we don't put conditions on that other person, and while you do this and as long as you do that, I will love you, but the first time you stop, the first opportunity I get, I'm gone. No. It's about understanding that we all need every now and then as I say in my own marriage, my own relationship, that partner in believing, that person who sees the truth in you beyond all of this, beyond all of the other stuff, who understands the real and full essence of who you are. And even when you don't, they still see it, and they hold the space for you until you get there yourself. That person who looks beyond all kinds of other things and holds that for you and holds that within themselves and recognizes and realizes that in you, beyond condition, beyond circumstance, beyond the past. Because so often what happens with people is they're like an accounting program. And they keep track. Well, he did this for me last year, but he didn't do it. Now, she didn't do that for me, and all of those things. And I was the last person to do that. They were the last, and all of those things. And when they said this, and they did that, and all of those things happened, keeping track like an accounting program and tallying it up and looking at the balance sheet and finding sometimes things lacking or whatever else. But beyond all of that, and I'm not talking about being in a place, in a space where a person abuses you and hurts you and does all of that, but I'm talking about those relationships that are healthy, that are working to be healthy, and understand what all of that means, that in that place and space of seeing that person and loving that person unconditionally, being a partner in believing for them, and they being that for you, and you understanding that for one another, understanding that. And so rather than falling in love, you begin standing in love. Because standing in love is so much better. Because when you are standing in love, rather than having fallen in love, when you are standing in love, you are loving from a place of strength. You're loving from a place of certainty. You are loving from a place of assuredness. You are loving from a place where you understand that I am loving myself. And as I love myself, this person reflects back to me the love that I am expressing. Because after all, and we heard the great master teacher talk about it, and when he was asked what the greatest commandment was, he said to love God and love your neighbor as yourself. And when you really break it down to what it all is, it's all about loving self. Because if we love God, as we oftentimes want to get up and talk about how much I love the Lord, I love God, and all of those things, we don't recognize that if we are not loving ourselves, we are not loving God. Because if God is all that is within, expressing love for that, and the thing of it is, it becomes that point, if there is no distance, no separation between us and God, if there is no spot where God is not, it means that we don't love God separately. We don't love our neighbor separately. We don't love our beloved separately. It's all the same. That's why when people a lot of times want to show their knowledge and talk about, well, you know, in the Greek understanding of love, there are several different expressions of love. There is eros, and there is philia, and there is agape, and all of that. And that's great. But for me, love is one energy. It's all the same. And so the love that I'm talking about, unconditional love, that's the love that spirit, the divine essence, God, Allah, whatever, Yahweh, whatever we wish to call it, within has for us, that is expressing for us in this very moment. And you may say, but I don't know about all that, and the fact that you are breathing is an assurance that you are loved. The fact that maybe you might not have been the way that you ought to have been with that person, whether it's the one that you are romantically linked with or that other person, but whatever. But the fact that you still have existence, the fact that you still, as they used to say, woke up this morning. The fact with the blood running warm in your veins, the fact that you are here now with a reasonable portion of health and strength. The fact that you are here in this moment, understanding and hearing the words that I'm saying, hearing the words that are coming not from me, but as an expression of the divine within, that as you begin to feel that as you begin to understand that, then you begin to know that there is that space and place that is within you that is constantly emanating love, sharing love, expressing love, flowing love, being love, giving love, doing love. All of those things, it is loving and it is in you, loving you right now. And when you allow it, then you sink back into it and there is no place but to just stand and just be loving. And that person, no matter what the flaws might be, no matter what else might be going on, no matter whether they pass gas or not in front of you, or all of those things, that you just love them, just love up on them, because I love myself. And you know, we sing it here at Open Heart. I love myself so much that I could love you so much that you can love you so much that you can start loving me. I'm standing in love. I don't need no help because I'm already up and standing. And so it is.